listening to Unravel with Natly Denise.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Nightly with Natly, a segment of Unravel with Natly Denise, and then with a segment of the Daily TrafficK, where I give you the latest in human trafficking headlines. But today we've got a whole bunch to cover, and I did cover day 5 of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial that is on my main channel, but I have also turned it into a separate podcast, so I will be uploading that to podcast soon. Yeah, it's really strange because I've been going through different sources to kind of find like a generalization of the coverage, and it's just really strange that one of the most prolific traffickers in our history, known to modern day, environments, that this isn't being covered anywhere. Like I'm really shocked, like genuinely, like I'm not shocked, you know what I mean? But I am shocked because it's like, I feel like I'm alone in a big giant stadium where like there should be a bunch of other people. Does that make any sense? Like, it just feels like a lot more people need to be covering this, like NBC, ABC, like that's just crazy. So anyway, just cover day 5. I think it's now the police officers are starting to testify about, what their findings are and describe the mansion that they raided. I guess not raided, but they executed a short search warrant in Palm Beach. So anyway, that'll be interesting. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. I hope you guys have some good plans planned for the weekend, at least some rest. That would be great. I know that I'm going to sleep in late tomorrow. I actually slept in super late today, and that's only because I took some melatonin to help me sleep, because sometimes I just can't sleep. And I got to force myself sometimes to sleep. So I actually took a little melatonin, and it made me sleep a lot. So, which I guess is good. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our headlines today. I saw this headline and immediately I gravitated towards it. So I think I've talked about this in the past, at least on my social media, about me losing taste. So I had cocoa I think it was like around the same time last year. So it was around fall, winter time. And I think I got the cocoa because I lost my sense of taste and smell. But ever since then, my taste and smell has not been the same. Is anybody suffering through that? I think it's called prosenia or something like that. We're going to get to the exact term. But is anybody in the comments? Have you guys? Is it something else? Like, do you guys ever experience that? Like, where you can't taste and smell, even though you've had cocoa, it's come and gone and anything? Like, anyway, so I've suffered through, well, not suffered, but food just doesn't taste the same. And I guess it is a little bit suffering because I love me some food. So anyway, there's this story. Her name is Natalia Cano. Cocoa has made food taste like sewage for one woman in her 20s, while another can't shower because hot water smells like rotting meat. How virus sparks rare condition that alters taste and smell. Well, it doesn't sound so rare. I don't think a lot of people talk about it, to be honest with you, because it's such a hard thing to describe, like the way that I experienced it myself. Like, I right before I got the cocoa, I loved cucumbers. Cucumbers just tasted really good. Cucumbers with salt, cucumbers with hummus. Like, that was my favorite treat, my healthy treat. And then after I had cocoa, it tasted like perfume. Like, it was a weird sensation. It tasted like perfume or something. It was really strange. And then cheese, like I'm going to this is called what is it called? A pan de quejo or whatever. It's a Brazilian cheese bread. And as I'm tasting it, there's a little there's a little bit of like a sewage taste. I do know what they're talking about. I do know, and I did that for a reason, because it does taste a little bit like how sewage smells. Yeah. So anyway, let's get through this article, because I thought that this was important. Nobody's talking about this either. 2 women who are battling symptoms of long cocoa symptoms have opened up about how the condition has completely changed their lives, with one revealing that it causes all food to taste like sewage and garbage, while the other says that she can't shower because the water smells like rotting meat to her. Natalia Cano, 20 years old from Mendham, New Jersey, caught the cocoa in January of 2021 while she was working in a food store, and she said it completely changed her sense of taste and smell. A few weeks after she recovered, she noticed that things that used to taste good started to taste like garbage and sewage, gasoline, or mold. That's exactly how it, I could not describe this before. This is exactly what it tastes and smells like. Like, I don't know. And I don't know you don't know how to describe that, right? Because what does mold taste like? What does gasoline taste like? This is exactly what it is. Signaling that she had developed a condition called parosmia. That's what it's called, parosmia. Food became disgusting to Kano, and she says she developed an eating disorder that she would throw up anytime she tried to eat. In Washington, D.C., Katrina Hayden, 24, also struggling with similar symptoms after she contracted the cocoa in June. At first, Hayden had anosmia, where a person loses their sense of taste and smell, then later developed parosmia like Kano did. Both women's lives have been altered due to parosmia, with Kano developing an eating disorder and Hayden saying she has trouble performing daily tasks like showering and brushing her teeth. And I'm going to assume that she made a TikTok about it. Oh, look, here's a TikTok. Maybe we can watch it here. I just saw a TikTok of a girl who developed parosmia from cocoa. Now every single thing she eats or tastes like sewage or gasoline. I don't know why the dangers of cocoa are only framed as life and death, because that sounds like hell to have to live with forever. Here's the video. Long cocoa is no joke, and it terrifies me just as much as dying. So listen, I just want to preface before I play this video, because this has, like, I have some really striking resemblance to this condition. And for a long time, like, I couldn't eat cheese. It was just weird. It was weird. Like, certain meats tasted rotty. Like, it's just very strange. And nobody talks about this. So, of course, because on Natly Denise, Unravel with Natly Denise, I like to talk about the things that people are not talking about. And of course, because cocoa is associated with either it's life or death, and there's no like byproduct symptoms attached to it, this is important to talk about. So I'm going to play her video, and she is crying in the video. And I know, some people are particular to people with emotions, but I could see how this is frustrating. I'll just be honest with you.
This had a name. So I finally was able to do some research into it. And I don't think anyone understands how much this affects your daily life. It's not that just foods, taste rotten. It is that, but it's garbage, dude. It's sewage. It's gasoline. It's ammonia. It's bitter. It's mold. Like, imagine imagine if all of, your favorite foods tasted like your least favorite food. Or, imagine if all foods tasted like your least favorite food. It is a step further. It is garbage and sewage. Like, imagine.
Okay, that's as much as I can take, but it really is that bad. Like, no joke. Kano is still struggling with parosmia more than 10 months after recovering from the illness. She said she's still suffering from the condition, and she doesn't know if it'll ever get better. She said she's still suffering from the condition. She broke down in tears as she opened up on TikTok. I don't think anyone understands how much it affects your daily life. It's not just foods that taste wrong. It means it's it's a garbage, dude. It's sewage. It's gasoline. It's ammonia. It's bitter. Imagine the worst smell that you have ever smelled in your life. And it's that, but everything. It's everything. In the clip, Natalia had read from Healthline article about the condition, which said 50% of people who were suffering from parosmia said it improved within 3 months. Now, I can tell you this is 1 year later, and I'm still dealing with parosmia. Like, I didn't even know what the condition was called, to be honest with you. Pepper, like, I love turkey pepperonis, cheese, almonds, cucumbers, and all of that, like, all changed for me. So anyway, I just thought that I'd pair up the condition with anybody who's suffering through that. I did see that there was somebody, where was it that I researched? There was actually what is it? There was like a remedy where people, where I saw this chiropractor, and what he did was he suggested you would get like someone else, like a partner or whatever, to flick you in the back of your head where there's a nerve. And when you flick that piece of nerve, it's like it sends your system into some sort of shock where it'll like rewire you. It didn't work for me, but you guys can probably try that if you are suffering from parosmia, and that is the change of your taste and smell ever since the cocoa. So anyway, I just that resonated with me. I was like, yo, this is what it is. This is what it is. I never could pair anything, because it's hard to explain that your food tastes like sewage, or your food tastes like rotten eggs. It's so strange. It's weird. It has improved on its own, and it's been a year, but it's still not fully back. So anyway, continuing on. All right, so I've been covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, right? And we've been uncovering new details, testimony from the pilot, from the household employee. Now law enforcement has been starting their testimony, and we're going to hear more on Monday. Now, Juana Alessi is one of the household employees that has been testifying through this trial yesterday and today. He's been testifying some pretty dark details. He also, in his testimony, he mentioned a 58-page house manual for how the staff was supposed to conduct themselves within the Epstein household. They said it was very strict, and that there was it was ran like a tight ship by Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, we didn't have any sort of insight to how strict this was until today. Daily Mail published a staff hand rule book for Jeffrey Epstein's House of Sin. A 58-page manual for Manchin gives an extraordinary insight into his gilded and depraved world, from $100 stuffed in a glove box for every car to the blue massage towels and gun in the bedside drawer. This manual, okay, so used at the Epstein's mansion and shown in court, it runs 58 pages, from $100 that had to be stuffed in the glove box of every car to the blue massage towels and gun in every bedside drawer. It gives an extraordinary insight into his gilded and depraved world. Introduction. This is now the manual, just so you guys have some insight to how Ghislaine Maxwell ran the household. This manual is designed to give proper guidance to perform your duties to the best of your ability while ensuring consistently high level of service. By using your communication skills, listening and observing, you will be able to anticipate the needs of Mr. Epstein, Maxwell, and guests. Yeah, this was a 58-page manual that addressed the household staff. Let's get into it. Appearance is extremely important if high standards are to be maintained. A favorable first impression goes a long way. Personal cleanliness, good presentation, a genuine and polite aim to please approach are very important. It doesn't seem too far-fetched, right? What else, Ghislaine Maxwell? What else were these people to do? Try and anticipate the needs of Mr. Epstein. Oh, here we go. And Miss Maxwell and their guests. Make guests feel pampered and welcome. Do not discuss personal problems with guests. Remember that you see nothing, hear nothing, say nothing except to answer a question directed at you. Unobtrusive is the key. Wear the appropriate clothing. Dark blue trousers with a white golf shirt to be worn daily. Long sleeve white shorts for dinner. Long sleeve white shirts for dinner service. Items in pockets must not create a bulge or be visible. Do not address Epstein or Maxwell and their guests with hands in your pockets. What? So you gotta have your hand in your pockets when you address them. Do not chew gum. Avoid using strong perfume or aftershave lotion. This could cause an allergic reaction. Smile. Oh my gosh. Okay, proper language. Again, this is the manual that ever since when Ghislaine Maxwell took over the household, this is the manual that the staff got, the household staff. Proper language. What you say is as important as what you do. Your language must include good diction and exclude swear words and slang. You do not say, wow, okay, wow. No, not that. It's not that. But these words, I'm already getting it. You do not say, yeah, sure, no problem, you bet, gotcha, I dunno. You do say, yes, sir, of course, miss, My pleasure. It is no trouble at all. You are quite right. To a justified criticism or make a mistake, you say, I am very sorry. It will not happen again. It was completely my fault. What to say after entering the room? You do not expound on the weather or any other subject unless asked. Wow. They ran I thought so. I got from the trial that they ran a tight ship, but man, that's pretty. Ew, that's pretty strict. Answering the phone. How you answer will leave a long-lasting impression on all those who call it, as immediately tells the caller the service standard. Do not slam down the receiver at any time. All calls should be answered in 3 rings or less. Unless otherwise instructed, never disclose Epstein or Maxwell's activities or whereabouts to anyone. Advise Maxwell of any strange telephone calls or inquiries. Of course, address Maxwell. Of course. Master bedroom, air conditioning at 60 degrees, 2 lighted pens or both bedside tables. Epstein, large and small notepads on both bedside tables. Box of tissues on each bedside table. Replace if 3 less than 1 out of 3. Gun placed on the bedside drawer. Master bedroom. Toothpaste is more than half full. New pair of exfoliating gloves in the shower. 3 large blue towels and 1 hand towel. 3 large blue towels and 1 hand towel to be ready for massage in the room. Master bathroom toiletries. A Gillette razor, extra blades, shaving cream, secret original lever, toiletries, basically toiletries. Guest rooms. All guest rooms must appear as though their arriving guest is the first to ever stay in the room. So basically that's how the room should be executed. Cleaning. Miss Maxwell's bathroom. Replace used towels. Check that there is enough toothpaste. Replace any toiletries that are running low. Other bedrooms. Place pillows, duvets, bedspreads, and blankets on a chair, never on the floor. Telephone must be free of dust. No sticky spots. Cord must hang properly. Living room, tidy magazines. Throw out fashion magazines over 2 months old. And then just like a whole bunch of, wow. I mean, it keeps going. Yeah, I'm not going to read all of that, but you guys get it by now, I'm sure. They ran a tight ship at that house, and it wasn't until Ghislaine Maxwell took over where she implemented this so-called diary. Strange, super strange. All right, pivoting on. So I reported to you guys a couple weeks ago about Mexico, the vacation spots like Cancun, how Mexico was already starting to have this like sort of cognizance of cartel activity. There were already guests that had been shot, not intentionally, but like as a bystander. I think there were like, I'm not sure if there's like cartel affiliated plazas or what, but there were people at these plazas that the cartels had wars at. And so, you know, innocent bystanders, vacationers got shot in the process of them coming at them. So too little, too late. 1,500 Mexico National Guard troops are officially deployed to Cancun area resorts after a surge in drug cartel violence, where 2 tourists, including California women, have been killed. The reason why I'm going over this is because we are upon the holidays and people like to travel to Cancun as a vacation spot, and you know, maybe for Christmas or maybe for Christmas vacation. I'm just letting you know that this is happening in Mexico, and especially in these vacation spots. Now, at one point, you know, anywhere in Mexico, yeah, it's questionable, but the vacation spots were never like something to question. But now it's like you do have to be very careful, because it seems to be that there is violence around these areas. A battalion of about 1,500 members of the National Guard has started patrolling the resort town of Cancun in the wake of a surge of cartel violence, where at least 2 tourists were killed after getting caught in the crossfire. The elite force made its way to Quintana Roo municipalities, Benito Juárez, Isla Mujeres, Solidaridad, I did get that first the right time, Puerto Morelos, Tulum on Wednesday. On Thursday morning, they set off their first patrols on beaches and streets that have been the scene of senseless murders. It's too little too late, says Robert Almonte, an expert in international crime organizations, in a phone interview with Daily Mail. The National Guard's Tourist Security Battalion was introduced by Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on November 17th, following shootings that tarnished the region's image, including the murders of 2 female tourists, one of whom lived in San Jose, California. And you guys can see this photo right here. And it's a beautiful Cancun beach in the background with tourist beach goers just vacationing. And then you see the National Guard, or the Mexican National Guard, arms at hand. Continued on. A team of 15 hired assassins murdered 2 rival drug dealers on a beach next to the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun in Puerto Morelos on November 4th. The broad daylight assault forced tourists and workers to seek refuge in the hotel before the armed gang escaped on speedboats. Speedboats. What? Like, they didn't leave to the streets. They went on speedboats. My goodness. Very sophisticated. On October 20th, a shootout between 2 gangs involved in a turf war claimed the lives of Anjali Roy, a 25-year-old Indian national who resided in California, a 35-year-old German national Jennifer Hensoldt, and La Marquerita Bar in Tulum. 2 German men and women from the Netherlands were also wounded. On June 11th, a 30-year-old woman visiting from Kentucky was shot and wounded after assassins arrived in Cancun Beach on jet skis and killed 2 workers inside a gift shop. Tourists have been getting killed and assaulted at the resorts for some time now, and it wasn't until lately that the president decided to create a special unit to specifically address the resort area, said Almonte, a former U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Texas and retired deputy of chief in El Paso Police Department. At least 21,500 people have died as of September in violent incidents linked to the criminal organizations. My gosh, that's a lot, according to government data. The state of Quintana Roo reported a minor decrease in murders between January and September, registering 442 homicides compared to 463 in the same period last year. Wow. It's pretty realizing. However, the killings have not deterred tourists from booking their vacation stays at resorts in the region, which attract nearly 20 million visitors per year. So, there you have it. 1,500 National Guard, Mexican National Guard at Cancun, where usually you really don't have to worry about that, you know. You really don't have to worry about that until now, because usually you've been able, you know, and I've known through the years, you've been, even despite there being cartel activity and all these things, you've been able to visit Cancun and it's protected and it's no problem. But this is sad that it's escalating up to this point where you can't even go vacation in Cancun. Now, what I will comment is I find it very interesting that Mexico will create a special battalion to deploy out to, tourist areas. But here in Texas, we can't deploy out our National Guard for the border. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that a thought to have? You know, we do have a posed risk at the border, but yet Texas won't deploy out National Guard. Absolute insanity. Hello, Sophia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for modding for me at Unravel tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Moving on. Oh my goodness. This is now the Daily TrafficK, where I give you the latest in human trafficking news and headlines. Let's take a look at this. 33 Ethiopians found in Midrand holding. And this is coming from the SouthAfrican.com. Human trafficking. The report follows after 50 Ethiopians were salvaged in Lanasia when as well as 11 more Medellins during October. Human trafficking has been reported after 33 Ethiopian nationals were rescued in Midrand, Johannesburg on Thursday. As reported by Johannesburg Metro Police Department, The victims were discovered in Glen Austin on Thursday night, working on info received from CI. 1X Ethiopian national arrested 33 human trafficking victims. Rescued. Oh, I'm sorry. They arrested one Ethiopian national and they rescued 33 trafficking victims. I had to reread that. Together with the SAPS Highway Patrol. A suspect has been arrested while the victims have been moved to an unnamed safety location. Continued on. South African police confirmed a suspect was arrested in connection with the audacious kidnapping of 50 men in the Lenasia, Johannesburg on Friday, the 15th of October. The report says that the group are Ethiopian nationals. The foreign nationals arrived in Mzansi to reunite with loved ones, but trouble hit when the driver that was transporting them suddenly found an opportunity to make some cash by kidnapping 50 men. 2 Ethiopian nationals were arrested for kidnapping nearly a dozen of their countrymen across South Africa. According to SAPS spokesperson Andre Hout, the victims were abducted in different parts of the country. The arrests were a result of a joint effort by both the Western Cape and Gauteng law enforcement. The kidnapping suspects were also Ethiopian nationals who police pounced on at the storage facility in Meadowlands, Soweto on Friday. So, yeah, this is what it actually started off with. The South African. What on earth is going on, really? I mean, just meaning that there's a lot more human trafficking activity in South Africa, more consistent to that. Moving on, I found this very ironic, very ironic. You guys are going to get an earful from me. You know you are. You're going to get an earful from me. Okay, so just today, the Biden administration releases a new plan to combat human trafficking. This is and don't be fooled, this is the annual White House plan that gets published every year. It's an annual plan. But don't you find that ironic? The Biden administration fighting trafficking. Interesting. You know, I have a lot of criticism, and I know I might be a little harsh on Biden, but the fact that they have allowed, the vulnerabilities of children crossing the border in South Texas, or mind you, any border town, and not understand the consequences of that these children cross in with single adult males with the wadded paper with their sponsor, and they don't even know if that sponsor is a pedophile or not. And I'm not even kidding. This is stuff that I have witnessed. I've witnessed myself, single adult males crossing in with little girls, one after the other after the other. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a wacko theory. This is something that I've witnessed with my own naked eyes. The Biden administration, this is from thehill.com. The Biden administration on Friday released an updated national action plan to combat human trafficking with new focus on gender and racial equity and workers' rights. Amazing. Amazing. Guys, this is blowing my mind that this is, how does intersectionality, I'm so frustrated. They know they're not combating trafficking. Otherwise, they would shut the borders down. I mean, trafficking is trafficking. They know they're not combating trafficking because now there's a strain on the CPS system. They know they're not combating trafficking, but because now we know there's a strain on the foster care system. It was already fractured before. It was already bad. So now that all these undocumented kids who are coming in, they put a strain on the foster care system. They become runaways. Traffickers are targeting them. Do we not understand this process? This is not, I can assure you that these people are not trying to combat trafficking. The new plan highlights underserved individuals, families, and communities, and is linked to broader efforts by President Biden to address inequities for the marginalized groups, according to senior administration officials. It also focuses on ending forced labor in global supply chains when the cocoa pandemic exacerbated, officials said. The White House National Security Council has began updating the National Action Plan 8 months ago to integrate the president's core commitment to gender and racial equity. I mean, this has nothing to do. Listen, trafficking happens to every single race. Latinos, Caucasians, Black people, Indian, like everybody is affected. Like, this makes me so mad. I don't even want to finish reading this because it's nothing but lies. It's nothing but lies. The plan overall is based on sorry that I'm yelling into the microphone, but this is so frustrating to me. The plan overall is based on 4 pillars: prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnerships. Really? Prevention. So open up the borders. Prevention. So send these kids off to sex offenders, sponsors, that are not vetted. Prevention, protection. 40% of these kids can't be contacted now, as reported by Axios. Prosecution. Is that why we have lower bail reforms in every single city, where you're seeing the likes of sex offenders getting out much quicker? Like, do we not, like, are we blind? Guys, like, I'm sorry, but I'm so mad. I'm mad about this. I'm so mad about this. This is nothing but lies. I'm pivoting on because I really can't believe the BS that they're trying to portray. And I'll tell you this too. I actually had dinner with so there's a council, and it's made up of survivor leaders. So these leaders are actually survivors of human trafficking, and they basically have formed this council to work with legislators, with lawmakers, to make the right policies to combat trafficking. And I actually had dinner with one of these members the other day, and she told me about this report that it was coming out. She was like, yeah, the report's supposed to come out. She was like, and let me tell you, this is the reason why I'm so mad. She was like, let me tell you, we formulated a very intricate plan to combat trafficking, and basically the Biden administration scrapped everything. And they came out with their own, and they're trying to focus on intersectionality and all these buzzwords. And she was like, they never included us, which is a whole council, again, full of leaders that survived sex trafficking. And she said, yeah, this administration never included us. This administration never considered what we had to say. They basically rejected everything we had to counsel on. So if you think that this is genuine, you think that this Biden plan to combat trafficking is genuine, you're living in an alternate universe, because this is not anywhere near combating trafficking at all. I'm moving on because this is making me mad. All right. This is from breakingnews.ie. Former RTE producer given a 10-year sentence for child sex abuse. A former RTE producer who sexually abused and exploited young children, including flying to the Philippines for the purpose of child sexual abuse, has been jailed for 10 years. And that's it. Just 10. That's the usual. Oh, these reports are making me mad tonight. 𝐁𝐴𝐬𝐿 engaged in behavior that is degrading in its extreme for his vulnerable child victims, who are in some cases being abused for commercial gain. Judge Melanie Gredley said that she handed down the sentence on Friday. One child in particular who was sexually abused by 𝐁𝐴𝐬𝐿 in the Philippines has never been found, and her fate remains unknown, the judge said. As she has not been rescued, it is difficult to conceive she has any hope of a normal childhood, much less a bright future, she said. The 59-year-old then sports producer has been arrested in Leeds in 2017 as a result of a sting operation by a vigilante group when he tried to meet a child for sexual activity. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment in the UK. Garday charged him last year with a number of offenses related to child exploitation, sexual assault, and possession of child abuse material. 𝐁𝐴𝐬𝐿 of the Adelaide Street in Dunlager, Dublin, pleaded guilty to 10 counts, including 4 counts of child exploitation, 2 counts of sexually assaulting a child, and 4 counts of child pornography. The offenses took place in Ireland, the UK, and the Philippines in 2014 and 2017. He has been in custody since October of last year. All right, a bit of light news. Let me just take a swig of water. Woo, I've been talking all day. 14-year-old human trafficking victim recovered after tips lead Ohio police to Michigan motel. This is coming from Cleveland19.com. Cleveland, Ohio. Police said a 14-year-old girl who is a victim of human trafficking has been recovered safely in Michigan. According to the Columbus Division of Police and Central Ohio Task Force, initially received numerous tips in reference to a teen girl who was possibly being human trafficked. Detectives were first unable to confirm the information about the girl being human trafficked until the 14-year-old's grandmother filed a missing persons report in Columbus police on November 9th. Information obtained by the Columbus police indicated that the teen victim may actually have been used in an illegal human trafficking operation in Southfield, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. On November 22nd, investigators located the missing teen at Southfield area hotel. According to Columbus police, she has since been reunited with her family. Good. Police said hundreds of sex advertisements featuring the missing underage girl were found posted on illicit websites. Charges were pending for a 30-year-old Texas man in connection with the case involving the underage human trafficking victim. The FBI and Southfield Police Department also assisted in the investigation. Well, that is a bit of brighter news, for the time being, that we had all this dark news. My goodness, this news just made me, everything just made me mad tonight. This made me mad tonight. That's right. MH comments, just 10 years, mad face. That's right. That's been my gripe this entire time. Every time I read a trafficking story like that, it's like either offenders keep reoffending or they get light sentencing. Happens every single time. It's insane. Anyway, I hope you all have a great night. I hope you all have good rest. I'm going to keep on working, fulfill orders for my new cosmetic line. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you guys haven't grabbed it and you're looking for a good Christmas gift, I've got my cosmetic line now launched. It is at natlydenisecosmetics.com. And I've got also a separate one for, this is charitable. This one, 100% of the purchase price will go towards human trafficking rescue and aftercare. Super proud of myself for doing that, giving back upon the start of this endeavor. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate y'all. I love you. Good night. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Oh, and by the way, I am uploading a video, Epstein at the White House at least 17 times. I'm going to upload that within the next 10 minutes. So go to my main channel and check that out. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Night, morning. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natly Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.